Hello Libra, Happy New Year, welcome to your January 2025 forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, I hope you're doing well. As you can see, Apollo's doing fantastic, recovering well, waking up here behind us, holding some space as we get started on this monthly forecast. This is going to help you navigate everything coming through in the month ahead. We're going to start, as always, with some channeled messages. So there were a couple of distinct images that came through. One was from meditation, the other one from dreams. Let's start with the meditation. So as I tuned into Libra this morning, what I saw was a roller coaster. And, you know, the roller coaster in traditional tarot would be kind of connected to the Nine of Cups, because there's distinct highs and distinct lows. And if you just focus on one of those moments, it doesn't give you the full picture. Because a roller coaster is anticipation, it's relief after you get through one of those twists or turns, and the whole ride itself can be exhilarating. But the moments where it's either at the highest high or the lowest low, it can sometimes throw you a little bit out of your grounding. So I think one thing in particular that Libra can do this month is to focus on staying grounded, not letting the sort of like exaggerated high or low take you out of the big picture. And then control what you can, let go of what you can't, and try to enjoy the ride a little bit. I like that there was an amusement park image coming through, and it reminds us that we have to sometimes just have a sense of humor with the twists and turns that life provides us. The next thing that came through was the dream image, and this one was a little bit more distinct. So it felt to me like awake, and that's not a bad thing because we're starting a new year. So awake is a celebration, like after the Judgment card. I got through this. So we put the two things together. There's been some twists and turns. I think that for many of you, 2024, it was all over the place, right? And so as we're hopefully now getting our feet on solid ground, it's like the sky is opening up. There's a lot of opportunity knocking. The Judgment card is the second to last in the major arcana, and it usually connects with rebirth. It usually connects with a fresh start, second chances, and an opportunity for you to go bigger and open up your heart and open up your mind. And I really think these are big takeaways. So of all of the signs that I've read so far for January, yours seems to be the one that has the biggest shift that is coming. Something that it's like a paradigm shift, a breakthrough, and it's like you're getting your second wind. So whatever maybe took your breath away or made you feel a little topsy-turvy, I definitely get something better on the horizon. I think that's a great way for us to start this reading. So let's get started. Let's ground our energy and clear our mind. So imagine that you're at the beach. You can plant your feet in the soft sand beneath you and watch as the sun is directly overhead. It creates this beautiful cone of light that encircles your body, creating a perfect sphere around you. In this, you are protected, you are safe, you're also connected to source energy. So let's go ahead and call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters, and let's begin. So amazing that I saw the wake, the funeral, the death and rebirth energy, and that's actually our first card. And Judgment, hello. It's kind of spooky when the synchronicities happen. I read cards all the time, but it just goes to show, like, when you see stuff, you've got to kind of go with it and report on it. So let's see what's going on. All that's missing is the world. But maybe that's what we're working towards, right? I'll take the Wheel of Fortune. All right, let me zoom out just a little bit so we can see this. We'll continue to expand this. Gosh, there's so many synchronicities. This one says mystery, healing, rebirth. Suffice it to say, this is going to be a powerful month. All right. Let's get started. I already have some goosebumps because this is just kind of magical the way the cards are coming through. We're going to begin with your catalyst. Catalyst messages help us focus on what we need in order to create spark or change or movement. How appropriate then that we have something here that would be connected with fire and the earth, because basically sweetgrass is a ceremonial sort of smudging element. You collect it, you braid it, you dry it, and then you can use it to clear things much like smudging with sage. But what makes sweetgrass strong is the collective energy of all of the strands put together, the braiding. So this is kind of like 10 of Cups meets 10 of Pentacles. And I feel like the strength that some of you might find in your life, it's not just about relying on yourself, but it's being strong enough to also lean on others, ask for help when you need it, and to just take your time. It takes multiple strands and a lot of time for that to reach the sort of rope-like appearance that you see here. So anything worth doing is worth doing right and worth taking your time. And you don't have to do this on your own. Those are the big takeaways here. Because it is something that can be used for clearing and for ceremonies, and also might be a great time for you to look around and think to yourself, which connections, which activities, which energetic engagements are worth my time? If there's something that isn't, now is the time to clear it. If there's something you'd like to add into your life, now is the time to weave it into the schedule. All right. Looking at the spread, I was already giving a little bit of commentary as I was pulling the cards, which I typically try not to do, but I couldn't help it because our channel messages were all about the wake or death, and then I said judgment, rebirth. So yeah, this is a big shift for you. One door may be closing, but something better, something bigger. It's further up in the hierarchy of cards. It's coming through. It's a breakout moment. Like I said, the only thing missing from this spread is the World card, but I feel like we have to work on all of this to get to the World card. You're very, very close, though. Let's start off with that centermost card, Death. I think this illustration does a great job at showing how some of us are just afraid of change. And if we look at the updated version of this card in the Lightseer's deck, this is how I really view death. It's both death and rebirth at the same time. In order to make room for something new, you often have to shed your skin, let go of something old. And I like to see this as a two-way sort of door, where yes, you're exiting, but you're also entering something. And in this case, it's going to allow you to reap the rewards. We can look at the reaper as a positive metaphor, reaping the rewards of the hard work that you've done. And the card that was on top of this is allowing yourself to spring into something new. Look at the liberation and freedom there. She's just saying, let's do this. Out with the old and in with the new. And there couldn't be a better card for January. That is what this reminds me of this one reminds me of Janus, and this reminds me of, like, again, bouncing back, that second chance, the wake or celebration of rebirth. If we take a look one more time at this illustration, it's saying all you have to do is have the faith and the courage to pull back that curtain and see what the universe has in store for you. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the shroud that covers up the death card, just like it covers up the hermit. There's no need to hide anymore. It's just change, that's all. Change is scary, but change is necessary. Crossing that card, of course, was judgment. In this deck, instead of a blue sky, we're focusing on the golden light of the sun. They even have like this beautiful lotus blossom here. So for many of you, there's a crown chakra awakening. There may be like this light bulb moment, this epiphany. I need to do this. Or it's a wake-up call. By the way, judgment can be a very close brush with death, which we just saw, or a health wake-up call where the doctor says you have to do this in order to, to thrive. Otherwise, it's going to cause some problems. So she's welcoming and embracing the wake-up call. And then what we see here is better days ahead, right? And I love the golden light on this card. So I really do feel For whatever challenges you might have been through in 2024, 2025, you're reaping the rewards. It was worth it. We'll see here this month how some of it might come into play, but I feel like this is setting the tone for the year. Feel free to look at my year at a glance reading, which I just did on New Year's Eve yesterday. So take a look at that. That'll help you out throughout the year, and you can cross-reference it with my monthly readings. What I saw for everybody was Eight of Wands, so a busy month. And for you, one of the challenges with that busyness is trying to manage this big shift, this big awakening. All right, what do we want to let go of? Challenges with health and challenges with money. They're both comprised within Five of Pentacles. The health challenges can come through exhaustion. This can represent simply like a cold, the flu, but it can also be this feeling of just being run down a little bit. So finding ways to recharge and doing so consistently, that's one of the wake-up calls. We also want to create more abundance here in the new year, Libra, because Five of Pentacles is breaking even or barely breaking even, but it's not having more than enough. And as I'm reading it, I feel a slight pain in my solar plexus. So one of the hardest things for some of you, Libra, is just standing up for yourself. The next card actually helps with that, and it's basically saying, this isn't right, or I need more, or stop. But before we get to that, it's really understanding that you are deserving of all of this and then some. And it's interesting that I just feel like someone pulled a cord right out of my solar plexus. This is normally, you would normally see another person on here, like a parent. So for some of you, there could be older brother, older sister, a parent, or a guardian that either you've pulled back from, or they're not there for you now, or you're just starting to feel like, I need to stand on my own. Whatever the separation is, or the cord cutting, again, it feels like it's okay. It's the natural course of things. This could also be a partner or a friend, but I am getting that disconnect for some of you where it feels like, can I do it? And you can, because if we zoom in on this one, I'll let it focus there. She has a beautiful little candle or match, and she's starting to find her own spark. She's not relying so much on the other person. It's worth noting that this is always in front of something like a church or a shelter. And so going back to this, you don't have to do it all on your own. You're stronger with the help of others. So part of your ability to thrive this year is to weave in new support systems. And multiple support systems. It can be emotional, financial, social, whatever you need to do. I'd love to see some more interweaving into your life, because I feel like that's going to help you in this moment. Okay. This is you, Libra, justice. But we want to have justice upright. In the upright position, it represents balance and also not just balance, but reciprocity. And I feel like what's missing from the equation right now is that sense of it's a fair exchange. So whatever it is in your life where you feel like it's not balanced or it's not even, this is the time to advocate for the balance, to foster and create it for yourself. And my stomach now feels good, but cut out whatever that is that's making you feel like that you don't have your power. And again, it could just be someone in your life that constantly questions your choices or casts judgment on you, because this can actually be someone else's opinions. And if we look at this spread, the Queen of Wands can be kind of bossy, kind of judgmental. And so we're putting an end to that. And again, if we look at these two illustrations, you're going to walk into your power and bounce back. You're going to thrive, but it does require an end to this. If there's anything in your life that is not right from a contractual or legal level, it's time to fight for that as well. You deserve it. As we take a look at the crowning card, we have the Five of Cups in reverse, which shows that there's still just a little bit of healing to be done, basically. And this is associated with grieving and release. There's no time limit. There's no right or wrong amount of time that you might spend on grieving or processing something. But I can't offer you one thing that will help. So if we focus on this illustration, you can see in the foreground is the stuff that she is kind of focusing on letting go. And in the background is something better. Two of Cups, it could be friendship, could be love, could be that interconnectedness that we were talking about with new people or resources in your life. But the first thing that has to happen is this processing. So all I can do in this moment is say it's worth the work to get through this emotional sort of hiccup. And again, working with a counselor, finding creative and even just physical outlets like exercise and meditation will be very advantageous and beneficial to help you get to that Two of Cups moment, okay? And I also think this is perfectly paired with what we see at the middle here. So when you step into something new, and it can even be like mourning the loss of your single life if you get married, or when you graduate or retire, mourning the loss of that schedule that you were so reliant upon. It's okay. That's part of growth. You're like, I think I'm going to miss that a little bit. But you have what it takes here to thrive. The Queen of Wands is like the penultimate boss card. She's second only to the Emperor and the Empress. So you are very ready for whatever it is that's in front of you. What I like about this, if we look at it in the upright position, we see she's basically Pele, goddess of fire and volcanoes, and creation and destruction. Central theme this month for you. But it's difficult to let go. It's difficult. You're like, am I destroying this? Am I doing something that, will I regret it? You never know unless you try and unless you give it a chance. So this month marks my 10-year anniversary of beginning YouTube as a full-time sort of job and passion. And I remember that question from my employer. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to walk away from your career? And I had the presence of mind to say yes, because I'm walking towards a new one, because I'm following my passion. So I understood, yes, it was big, but I was so ready. So whatever you need to do to get ready to shed the sort of skin of the past like a snake and step into something new, that's really what this is about. Now, for those of you that are like, Nicholas, I've already done that, or I'm not looking at that kind of shift, this is simply saying don't overthink things. Your intuition and your passion are your central tool this month to create new things. Just let it flow. The lava has to flow. The volcano needs a release. So find your release, follow your energetic flow, and let it take you wherever it needs to take you. Here's the cool thing with lava. It flows very slowly, but it can cut through anything. It isn't about speed, folks. It does not matter how quickly. Do it at your own pace, but do it with great passion and great confidence, and nothing will stop you, all right? Moving on, we have Page of Wands coming through. And as I'm looking at this beautiful page, it's joyful, right? So I think if you're going to do something, do it with also this, not just this passion, but this joy and almost just like not caring so much about the outcome. So that was one of the questions that was posed to me when I did the 2025 month-by-month breakdown. I looked at a few members' questions at the end, and someone was saying, like, how do I get past my own lack of confidence or, stepping into something new? And I said, not focusing so much on what others think. It's not that you don't want to be successful or you don't want positive acclaim. It's that you're doing it simply because it feels aligned. It's not about right versus wrong. You're aligned to your path. And I almost just imagine her dancing. This looks very sort of playful and like she's in the flow. So march to the beat of your own drum, do what feels right for you, and know that it's okay. Pages are receptive too. So one thing that you can do in this moment in time, going back to the interwoven energy of this sweetgrass, is to find other people who share your passion, whether it's a book club or a class, or again, finding other people that have the same sort of vision. This is going to build your own confidence and energy in a way that will help you really kind of have this breakthrough, like the volcano in the background. Okay, so now we're seeing what the 2 cups can represent here if we take out the 3 cups that have spilled. There could be love, there could be partnership, or enhanced intuition and creativity. Queen of Cups is also very much in the energetic flow. You can find it this month. I really feel like you can find this new rhythm, this new flow, this new creative vibe that can take you the distance, at least the first quarter of this year. She's still a little protective of that cup. She's like, but I like to look at this one as discernment. She's like, I'm ready to receive, but does it feel right? Is it good enough? Are you on the same level as me? And then she'll lift that hand and say, let's bring it on, all right? There may be new love or relationship energy coming forth. It could be a friend, it could be a business partner, this could be someone that you're interested in romantically. So Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces energy coming forth. There's a flexibility with this particular person because the fact that we have a mermaid on here means that this person can kind of coexist in two different elements. To some degree, they can kind of be above water for a little bit. So I like that you could see that as like air and water. So there's a nice mix. I do feel like the two of you could make a good partnership. But mostly this is about your heart opening up, your creativity bubbling over, and being discerning when it comes to new people and opportunities. Here we go with the Eight of Wands. So quarter one in the 2025 forecast showed the Eight of Wands. What I like in this one is that you're kind of leading the charge. So often it's kind of like an inanimate card. You just see a bunch of rockets flying through the air or a bunch of wands that are, kind of thrown into motion. But what we see here is someone that's kind of moving with and possibly sometimes even ahead of the energy. This is a community card. We don't always see the people connected to the wands, but suffice it to say they had to get into motion somehow. So you are also being poised to lead, to be seen. Don't lose track of the momentum that you've created. Don't get in your headspace too much because we see a change of fortune for you. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse can be positive if we're looking at making necessary changes to be more efficient, to focus on, again, finding the reciprocity, not wearing yourself out because the Strength card here that was reversed can represent trying to carry too much of a burden, or as we're looking at the karmic message here, possibly not getting enough for what you're putting forth. So it's important, as we were talking about the Justice card, to create that necessary balance, particularly when it comes to resources. After all, the Wheel of Fortune has a way of turning in a new direction, and as long as you keep doing the work and heed the wake-up calls that were right here at the center, I feel like good things are ahead, okay? Let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We're going to move on to the next portion here, which is health, wealth, love, and destiny, starting off with the health message in your mind, body, and spirit. So let's look at this one in the upright. It says, Sleeping Beauty's Dream. Simply put, there needs to be both quality and quantity of sleep since we're looking in the health area. This is also about, because you can read that almost as getting your beauty sleep. But I want to also look at the beauty component of this. Beauty is in the mind of the beholder, and it's also subjective. So what we want to do is redefine what we consider beautiful. Empathy is beautiful. Wisdom is beautiful. And kindness. And let's not chase impossible beauty standards anymore. So being kind to yourself, getting the rest, the support, the nutrition that you need to naturally kind of replenish, and then not worrying so much about a wrinkle, about meeting up to impossible beauty standards that are out there. You are beautiful within, and it's not necessarily worth the time, energy, or money that we sometimes put into trying to be forever young. That isn't the purpose. And if we look at some cultures that are no longer around, unfortunately, because of just various wars and colonization, things like that, but particularly, native cultures where they had a respect for wisdom and age because it showed strength and the ability to survive. Let's also see that within. Let's celebrate our experience. Let's not be afraid of a couple wrinkles here and there. Okay. Some other things coming through on the spread here. As I said, if you wear yourself down, the Five of Pentacles can show that you might get sick, that it's basically diminishing returns here if you keep doing that. There also may be just a wake-up call in your general body and health that you need to heed in order to turn things around. And you can. The wheel spins, but it requires movement on your part. Something's out of balance. It's time to create that balance in your life. It could be work-life balance. It could be your diet or your exercise, or something in your life just needs to be addressed. We mentioned that you don't have to do this alone, that you're stronger with others, even though you have the capacity, to survive and to thrive even on your own. In this period of time, in this month ahead, leaning on the support of others could be helpful. And we have a very kind and receptive energy in the environment here. So feel free to lean on that or reach out for that if you need it. You're busy. Don't be afraid to delegate when you're busy. If there's any grieving that you're experiencing because of a change, loss, or development, again, reaching out to someone is really important. I think a lot of this actually is emotional this month. And then the rest of it is just a matter of deciding to make a change for the better, okay? So overall, I like what I see here. One last card with the Strength message in reverse. We can also kind of imagine that this is a Strength card. Make sure that you're getting not just enough sleep, rest, and support, but that you're doing some things in your life that help you feel passionate, strong, connected. Don't leave yourself out of the equation, okay? Let's move on to the next category, which is wealth, your resources, your life purpose, and your career. This is a place where some of you may be starting to change. So mystery, healing, rebirth. The snake is coming through to say, I want to try this out. I want to shed my skin and do something new. And, you know, as we're just looking at this spread, it could be a major shift, or it could just be easing into something that's out of your comfort zone. The main thing that you have to focus on is feeling like you can do it, because you can. You're creative enough. We have the boss energy here. We have the potential for more money and abundance, but it does really hinge on self-confidence. And there could have been someone or something in the past that just chipped away at that a little bit. So as I get clearer cards here on each of the subcategories, let's see what we can do to remedy that. All right, this month I'm kind of shaking things up a little bit, and I'm going to give specific messages for each of the subcategories. So we're looking at wealth. We're going to look at those of you that have a traditional job, and then we're going to follow up with those who are entrepreneurs, and then we'll take a look at those of you that are looking for work, students, and retirees. All right. Card by card, let's look at the messages here. Starting off with those of you that have a traditional job. The Hierophant in reverse. I get a sense of frustration. Some of you either are not aligned or in agreement with the leadership, or you're just tired of being bossed around. You want to do more on your own. You want more autonomy, more say, more power in what it is that you're doing. Also, I get a sort of rebellious or inventive or out-of-the-box thinking that may not fit within the expectations of a given job, environment, etc. So finding a place where you can be yourself, whether it's in this job or in your extracurricular activities, there needs to be the sense of freedom, liberation, and independence. There are gatekeepers, and there may also be a glass ceiling where you're at. And that's frustrating because I'm empathizing with you, because I see that some of you haven't reached your maximum when it comes to potential earnings. And in order to be able to do that, it may require a shift. You may have to decide, I want something better, or I need to transfer in a different division of this company. Or I'm going to fight because, you know what, it's actually not right. The reason that I'm not getting it could be due to some sort of bias like ageism, sexism, etc. So that's your choice if you want to fight it. But there's something about the structure that feels like it's not allowing for growth. So that's the biggest challenge and opportunity. Okay, moving on to those of you. I'm not seeing any major issue, by the way, for those that have a job. It's already happened by the time this reading's come around with the death and rebirth energy at the center. But I do feel like some of you just, you need to grow or change, and it's about finding places in your life that you can do that. Okay, if you own your own company, entrepreneurs, this is a really good card for January. It's literally Janus, the god of ends and beginnings, that stands in that doorway. And this god is looking reflectively at where they've come and also projecting goals. So that's the best thing that you can focus on right now, is goal and vision planning right now. Dreaming, and then kind of setting that dream into motion. So plan. And also, this is a card that is just one step away from manifestation. Three of Wands shows that it can happen quickly. So you're possibly just a month away from some rapid growth and movement. It looks really good if you have your own company. Keep up the good work. Make sure that you're also, projecting enough for the growth and change in this new year. There are some changes going on politically, economically, and make sure that your company can adjust to all of those changes so that you can thrive. All right, so contingency is going to be important. All right, so now we're going to look on the job seeker sort of area, and we have the Eight of Swords. Consistently, I've been seeing some frustration with job seekers in January. It could be because budgets are resetting, because, like I said, there's some changes coming through with trade and politics and money, and this also requires people to look at their budgets when they're hiring. So one thing that I would say with Eight of Swords is just because it's not in front of you doesn't mean that it's not achievable, but it may require you being more open to looking at different industries, different descriptions, possibly also even doing some skill building and things of that nature. Whatever also that you might have sent out, it's time to look at the way that that was packaged. I know most applications are now done through forms, but on the off chance that it is a traditional CV, changing the order and changing the words, even if you are putting things into forms, maybe working with someone that's good at copywriting, in other words, writing, to give you something that's more impactful can help. Because what I'm seeing is that it's not making it to the top of the stack. So at the very least, working with someone to help you put your best foot forward with communication, particularly what to put in those slots. It's worth the investment. Or just changing it up. Don't cut and paste. One size does not fit all. It could take a little bit longer. We do have a Wheel of Fortune card coming through, but it is reversed. So what you'll have to really fight for this month is compensation. And there is a degree of negotiation, but not a lot based on the cards that I'm seeing. It might be 5 to 10% something. It's worth it, but also know what's realistic based on the industry and the sort of like marketplace right now. Okay, moving on to those of you that are students. It's a pretty good month. Nine of Cups is reminding you to enjoy the journey, the roller coaster ride that I was talking about. Make some time for social activities. So strength building, again, includes student life, taking time to do an internship, to basically expand your social, your professional, and just your general sphere of people in your life, so that it's going to be there when you need it, okay? But Nine of Cups is pretty good. There could be highs and lows, of course, during this, but it is upright. So I would just say don't go to extremes. Take your time, and especially when it comes to like a party or indulging, moderation is important. The one area that I really want to focus on is retirees. We have the Ten of Swords coming through. So the Ten of Swords can be a challenge in your health, chronic pain or fatigue. There could be someone in your life that just went through something, since we did actually get two cards, connected to loss, transformation, etc. Some of you might also, might have lost a partner, or you might be in a point where you're deciding to move and release some things. If you've just entered into retirement too, there could be this sense of now what. So the important thing here is to take care of yourself. Mental health, physical health, and financial health. All of the sort of like cornerstones of just being able to have a firm foundation. These are the most important things. And other parts of your life might have to be on hold. I'm not seeing a need or even a recommendation to travel right now. I think it's really important to take care of yourself. Now, there could be new love and relationships coming in. I do think your schedule is going to be busy. And I also think that you're going to be able to make the most out of whatever challenge is in front of you. But more than anything, it's saying don't overdo it. Ten of Swords is avoidable too. Let's say everything's good, but there's someone in your life that likes to pick a fight. Just don't waste your time and energy on that. It really isn't worth going into with them, okay? Now let's move on to the next category. I already kind of hinted at it there that some of you might be finding new love. Let's see what's coming forth here in the Oracle card. So we have the Halls of Learning. The card is reversed, and bringing it closer to the camera, it says Spirit Guides, Confirmation, Great Lessons. I think some of you are tired of bringing in teachers. You want partners, not teachers, and I'm a big believer in that too, because it gets exhausting sometimes when there's karmic lessons coming through. The karmic lesson here was equity, that you are on the same level, and you're not going to take less than you deserve. You're not going to allow someone to belittle you, etc. It's also realizing that one experience in the past does not mean that your entire sort of romantic or interpersonal relationships have to always have that kind of dynamic. In fact, before we get into the specific subsets of all the relationship types, here's what I'm seeing. It feels like you've overcome a karmic cycle. You still may be bringing in a past life energy. So someone new is coming forth, but there's still that sense of familiarity, and there may be a little bit of a hint of this. So really stand up for your own value and worth in this relationship. And some of it could simply be this fallacy that they're out of your league. If they're in your energy, you're all in the same level. I really just feel it's like confidence building is coming forth. And we do have like differences in communication, and I'll break it down when I look at those of you that might be already in it. But I see options for those of you that are looking, and it looks like it's just going to be a really busy month overall. So trying to find time for relationships could actually be the biggest challenge. Let's go ahead and break it down into smaller categories here. We're going to look at those that are in a relationship first. So I'll pull a card on that. Then we're going to look at those of you that are seeking love, and then those that are happily single. All right, let's start off first with those of you that are presently in a relationship. Communication is the challenge. Five of Swords is, for many of you, just the inner saboteur. I talked about this, which is you're with someone and you may feel like there's an inequity, but like I said, you're on an even playing ground. There could also be an inner saboteur coming forth saying you're not good enough, you're not this enough, etc. Or it could just be on either side of the partnership, someone that isn't listening actively and clearly. Instead, they're creating their own next reply rather than taking in what the person is saying and really sitting with it. So one tool that you could have in a current relationship is to say, I have something I want to talk about. Let's put it out here. Let's have an initial conversation, and then I want to come back to it tomorrow. Think about it. Don't answer me today. This is good if you have a question. Just say, I have something I'd like you to think about, and then sleep on it. See if they can do that. Now, if there's just someone that pushes your buttons, this could actually just be in your expanded family. It doesn't have to be your partner in particular. An in-law, friend, a relative, a neighbor, and they like to kind of push your buttons and get a rise. The best thing that you can do is not give them a ride. It's like no reaction, Four of Swords energy. Taking a step back in this suit will actually help. Or Six of Swords, moving into do something else, move on, walk out of the room, focus on something else. You don't want to meet fire with fire on this one. This is someone who isn't ready to listen, and they're judgmental too. So I think it's really important to elevate all communication and avoid kind of just like wasting your time, your energy, and the breath in your lungs on someone who can't listen. But for everyone else, I really do think it is just about the inner saboteur, if the relationship is steady. One of the sort of trigger points for some of you could also just be money and how to kind of like make ends meet. I mentioned I was going to look at these two. Queen of Wands in reverse is bossy. The Queen of Cups is very sensitive and receptive. We have one person that's doing more of the talking or making more demands, and the other person needs to have a moment to speak. So I really do think sharing the stage is key. And at the end of the day, it's kind of a make it or break it month for all of you, because you can turn a corner, death and rebirth, death and judgment here, but it is a matter of deciding, I'm in, let's do the work. With Justice reverse, I'm not completely convinced that that's the case. It's really interesting that we got judgment and justice. Justice is the deciding card, and this is usually one that's saying, I don't want it, or a no, or even divorce. But there could just be a disagreement, and you have to decide how far you want to push this. And with all of that being said, I hope that helps you kind of clarify if you want to fight that fight. Now let's take a look at those of you that are looking for love. The Four of Wands is a very auspicious card, even reversed. Let's look at it in the upright position for just a moment. It represents friendship. It's a card of commitment, and we even see here it can represent marriage. So what I'm getting with this in the reverse state is you may not be looking for any of these things, but you could stumble across someone who is like perfectly your type, or looking for all of those things, and for some reason it's resonating and you're thinking, how did this happen? So you could be swept off your feet. You could also meet someone who is more serious than you are, and in this case, it's so vital that you speak your truth and just say, that's not what I'm interested in, so that you can free them up, so that you can both be finding the perfect match, someone that's on the same level. But I do see a great foundational energy here. And even if you're not looking for love this month, you could really put the focus on friendships and networking. So I think it's good to put yourself out there. Highly receptive energy. Like I said, in the environment, we're seeing someone who comes through as kind and sensitive and passionate. We have a couple of other potential partners here. One that it's more about the passion. There's not as much to talk about. And maybe another person who lacks the experience that you might be looking for. I really do like the water signs that are coming through. So if there's a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces in the mix, this is a good month for that connection. And again, buckle your seatbelts because it could get serious quickly. All right, let's now move on to single and happy. You're focusing on personal growth. It's a great time to do that. And we see the ability to make a really good stride from the 5 of Pentacles to the 7 of Pentacles. And I've been seeing consistently 7 of Pentacles coming through for January for a lot of signs. So suffice it to say, there's room for growth. It's not going to happen overnight. It may not even be going at the speed with which you'd like it to go, but it is exactly where it needs to be. And more can come through because we had the Wheel of Fortune, but you just have to take your time. The other thing that I'm picking up on here is to focus on healing. So again, this can show some challenges in the body. This is going in the positive direction. You heeded the wake-up call here, and you're not going to have to worry about this. It is that sort of decision that now is the time to make the necessary change. Okay? And that, my friends, is everything for love and relationships. Let's look at your destiny card. I love this. Relief. After the death card, after the judgment card, after justice, comes this sense of, thank goodness, I made it. And I love that the number 22 is on here because to me, that's like right after the world. Expansion, relief, release, and the ability to just be. So I do feel like one big thing that I keep seeing for you is this energetic reset and finding your new flow, whatever that is for you, creative flow or just this sort of new vibe where it feels like I don't have to push so much. I can just be myself. Let's look at one final card. This can be any question that you might still have that I haven't answered in this general spread. And let me give it a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. All right, I'll take it. You got the 10 of Wands in reverse. What I love about this 10 of Wands is we see it growing out of something that has come to pass. So we have the skull here and this beautiful tree that is using that experience, figuratively speaking, as a foundation of growth and transition. So something may not have worked the way that you wanted to. You had the death card at the center. You had to let go of something. But just as I was seeing with this, particularly this illustration, there's a chance to reinvent. And there's a chance to grow and reach beyond what you thought. So as a yes or no, it's a yes. However, the card was reversed, and the 10 of Wands in reverse can feel a little pushy. So if there's someone in your life pushing you to do something, don't say yes just because they want it. Don't do it because you feel pressure. Do it because you feel like this is the next natural step. Finally, this is saying you're so close to the finish line. Don't give up. Just finish what you've started. It will be worth it. And it could be that thing that basically brings the Wheel of Fortune upright for you. This was truly a magical reading, from the synchronicities that came through from channeled messages to the cards to just the general flow of everything. Such a pleasure always to read for you, Libra, and I hope that this is well received here on the first day of the new year, and it helps you navigate through everything that comes through this month. If you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, please do me a favor, like it, subscribe if you're brand new or have never subscribed before, and then leave a comment. Let me know what resonated the most. I read every comment, and I love to see what's going on with all of you. So that you do not miss anything else that I put out there, in addition to subscribing, you can follow me on social media. It's always Nicholas Ashbaugh, spelled exactly as you see here on all the major platforms. I'm also on an emerging platform known as Blue Sky. It's nicholasashbaugh.com there. That's also where you can go, nicholasashbaugh.com, my website, if you need additional information. To give back, by the way, you can do so with super stickers, super chat, and memberships. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do it without your support here. So anything that you guys want to do in that respect, thank you so much. Also, let's see, I know I'm missing one thing. Oh, yes. Always be smart about, looking out for imposters out there. A great way to know or to see one is misspelling in my name, or the fact that they may try to offer a reading or contact you through direct messages. Just know that I don't do that. Okay? Let's see if Apollo's in the other room. So we're just going to wrap up here, and I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for being the absolute best part of what I do on YouTube, for being amazing, and for showing up here to kick off the new year. Wishing you all the best now and always. I'll see you soon.